Hello everyone, welcome to our webinar here on FX Street. So before we begin, just let me know if everything is fine, so I can see charts are fine, sound is also fine. Okay, perfect. So in this webinar, it will be actually first webinar in a while. Just let me put mobile on mute, just a second. It will be actually first webinar where I will try to focus on cryptocurrencies. As you know, there have been a lot of going on around cryptos, especially in the second part of 2017. We have seen a lot of volatility, a lot of interesting price movements, a lot of gains. So I have received a lot of requests recently about the wave counts in cryptocurrencies. So definitely we have begun starting covering them. And also, I have received several questions from clients, from readers, if I think that Elliott Wave can also be applied on the Elliott Wave on these cryptocurrencies, if we consider that this is some different kind of a market. Well, my answer is very simple to that. Is that actually this is still environment where Elliott Wave theory can be applied only because of one simple reason. It can be different financial market, but psychology of investment is the same. Okay, investors' mood, investors' psychology will be the same when trader will be involved in the market. This is one thing. The next thing is that Elliott Wave theory, Elliott Wave theory is not only a theory which can be applied on financial markets, it can be also applied on some other things, such as politics, such as maybe movies, music. So maybe back in 80s, you have seen some different kind of music popular that we've seen today. So there are ups and downs in every phase of life, of nature. Okay, so everywhere Elliott Wave can be applied. And I think it can be very useful because it's combination of technical analysis with psychological perspective as well. So I think this is probably the best tool when it comes to trading. And the next thing that is important is that when you're looking at and tracking financial markets, you are tracking actually the price movement. You ignore everything around it, just focus on the price and the move itself. I predicted a lot of very good setups on Bitcoin actually since July of 2017. I share this everything on free on the website, on Twitter, even on FX Street articles. And actually it proves to be very useful method if you try to ignore all the noise around the Bitcoin. Don't read news, just focus on the price. Okay, I don't care about how and what or in which direction technology itself will develop. What it's really important for me is supply and demand, and this is visible only on the price chart. Okay, so if you want to really to focus on your own and make your own analysis and make your own setup, just try to ignore everything and just focus on the price movement. Okay, because every information from all around the media, it's collected in one piece, in the price. Okay, and this is the only thing why the price it matters. So I will take a look on Bitcoin. So actually, can you see this weekly chart here on Bitcoin? I can see that. I don't know if that's maybe because of this webinar software or something. I just cannot see the price chart here. Do you have any issues as well? I'm not sure why this is happening actually. Okay, let me just, here is fine, but here if I go on the Bitcoin, the weekly chart, there should be the wave counts and it's nothing actually. No candles on the weekly. Yes, I know. It's probably because of this software. I can see that something is lagging. So nothing. I will close everything and try again. Okay. Very interesting. You know what? I will try to. Really apologize for this. I don't know what's the issue. Actually, probably this software of the webinar does not support maybe some Firefox Windows or something. I don't know. Trading view, crypto search. Bitcoin. Okay, so here on the left we have a Bitcoin. So I will just go through some several markets, especially major cryptocurrencies. We'll cover Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, Dash, and so on. And if you have any questions, just type it on the chat, and I will be very happy to look at it. Okay, so Bitcoin. Here on the left, you can see a logarithmic scale. It's a big discussion, either you focus on a logarithmic scale or no. My thinking is the following. If you are following the logarithmic scale, then only you should be aware of a potential direction, in which direction market can move, not on the price, because you can see here that I'm looking higher maybe for a fifth wave, but projecting 30,000 or 60,000, maybe even 100,000 would be just simply too optimistic. Okay, so as I look on the logarithmic scale, I try to focus only on the direction of the market, not on the predicted price. That's very important. Okay, so what I want to say here is that the logarithmic scale is clearly, if we respect what the market is doing, that recovered after each drop, either was a very strong, very deep drop, or just a small pullback. We have seen lags lag higher. So when you analyze with the Elliott Wave theory, definitely you want to remain with this trend. You want to be prepared on more upside, because calling the top is not an easy task and can be very dangerous, especially if you're trying to short this market. Okay, so here I'm expecting more upside, and the reason why I'm expecting more upside is very simple, because within this pullback, okay, back towards 6,000, we have seen only a free wave drop, and here is this chart. You can see potential A, B, C, and there are some very interesting price developments within this pullback, which suggests that this was probably a correction. The first drop was very sharp. Normally, this occurs in wave A, and then you have a slower, or I should say lower volume in wave C. Okay, so wave A was much sharper compared to wave C. Normally, that's very typical, because if volume in wave C is slower, then volume will try to again, or price movement itself is slower than wave A, then this will try to actually to be more accelerating to the other side of the direction when market bottoms. So actually, I'm not really surprised that this is happening. And in fact, this bounce confirms that this was a potential low in place. Also, we have turned up from this trend line support. The next thing is that I also covered in my videos. I don't know if you followed me on Twitter. I said that it's very important to focus and to understand what mania cycle is. Mania cycle is a very strong move in very extended move without any significant pullbacks within this move. Okay, so if we consider the price action, let's say from start of 2017, you can see we have seen move up, and then a slow pullback, move up, slow pullback, move up, pullback, and then suddenly we have seen very aggressive rise. Okay, so actually for me, through 2017 and towards the November of 2017, it was a normal market with normal conditions, up, pullback, but then suddenly, and this was actually, guys, this was in 12 months period, okay? And then actually in just 2 months or so, even 1 month, I guess, we have seen a very strong move to the upside. And this is called a mania cycle, especially if you consider that media got crazy around this Bitcoin when we started to break into the upside. And normally when mania cycle ends, it's important to understand that mania cycle will be completely erased or covered when we are talking or analyzing the price, which means that you would expect that the price will retrace back to the starting point of mania cycle, and which I believe was here in November. And notice where market bottomed, okay, exactly at these levels. Also, what is very significant is that we have had a highest volume reading here on this spike lower. And when this volume occurred, when this spike was visible on the chart back at the start of February, and when this mania cycle was covered, I said that Bitcoin is probably turning to the upside. And notice that each time when we have a spike in volume and lower prices, like here in September, we have seen a move to the upside. Even here, we have seen some higher volume after a pullback in July. Even here in December, we have seen some recovery, and now I'm not really surprised to see the same thing happening, especially if we consider other factors. Also, an Elliott Wave structure which had 3 waves, as I said, to the downside, which stopped at this and completed at the start of mania cycle at this trend line, and also at the same time we have seen a completion at this lower parallel trend line of this corrective channel. So where we go from here is probably the question. Well, notice that the recovery, okay, or maybe I can look at this chart or chart. A recovery can be counted in 5 waves. Waves 1, 2, 3, triangle for wave 4, and wave 5. Okay, I also sent out a free report yesterday out. You can find it on Twitter. I said that we have 5 waves up and that probably a reversal is coming. What is really significant is that just 20 hours later, we lost $1,000 here on Bitcoin. We fall back into the area of a former wave 4. Now, this is typically a very important support area, but again, you have to focus on the price structures. We have only 1 leg to the downside. You need to have 3 legs. So I still think that we may see a deeper pullback. But the reason why I also suspected that we will see a pullback is coming from the US stock market. Why? Because as you know, Nasdaq 100 in particular has very strong correlation with Bitcoin because of technology sectors, because of mining, okay, because of hardware equipment. So actually, what I will do now is I will compare Bitcoin with Nasdaq. Okay, so here I will compare, and here's Nasdaq. Just a second. Scale, no scale. Okay, perfect. So actually, what we see here is that here in mid of January, we have seen a corrective movement here in black on Bitcoin. Then we have seen turn lower in Bitcoin also at the same time when Nasdaq moved to the downside. Then Bitcoin started to recovering, okay? And I said, based on the Nasdaq wave count, I also talked about this a lot on Twitter. I said that we are going to see a bottom because I saw Nasdaq in a 5th wave and a bounce higher, which will cause acceleration to the upside of Bitcoin, which at that time, actually, Bitcoin bottomed a little bit earlier. So if we consider that Bitcoin bottomed on February 05, and I said that Nasdaq is probably in a 5th wave, then you can assume that if Nasdaq will bounce, Bitcoin will be moving to the upside even sharper if we consider that it bounced earlier, even if Nasdaq was slightly to the downside, moving slightly to the downside. But why I think that we could see now a pullback to the downside on Bitcoin is because I see stock markets, US stock market at resistance, and I will show you this chart in a second. So I will look actually at the S&P 500. You can see that actually, when this recovery occurred in the US stocks, we have seen Bitcoin moving to the upside at the same time. But now, if we consider what US stocks, where US stocks can be headed to the downside, we are at the former wave for resistance. We are at 61.8% retracement. I'm not really sure if we'll get an impulsive decline, but definitely I think that we will see some kind of a weakness. And this could cause Bitcoin to come to the downside as well if we consider that also markets turned very similar to the downside back in January. So on Bitcoin, I think we will see at least a pullback. So we have stocks that are at resistance, and not only that, we have wave count of Bitcoin that is showing and suggesting that we will see a pullback. So at this, and we are also here at this trendline resistance. Okay, so definitely it can be perfect timing for a pullback. Now again, here comes this investors' mood in play. I think that there are a lot of traders, investors who are waiting on bottom to form, and then when you see Bitcoin, firstly they were very bearish here. I'm sure at 6,000 they said we are going to 1,000 whatever. Then market bounced, and now when they see 40-50% recovery, not I mean almost 100%, they say okay, Bitcoin has bottomed, and this is exactly when they will get in. But what we'll see, we will see a pullback. Okay, so I think this is a very important price region. We could definitely take this trend line out and then maybe a pullback back towards this trend line. But the idea is that you have to see, at least I'm waiting on this ABC correction before uptrend resumes. Okay, because we know that after 5 waves, correction will follow. So I think that there will be better opportunities once this structure unfolds. Okay, but technically speaking, I think that Bitcoin has a very good potential setup for more upside, and definitely we could even rise towards, or I should say above 15,000. Ethereum, for example, does not have such a good structure. So when it comes to other cryptocurrencies, and if we are back in the bullish phase, just try to pick the currencies, the structure that have, or the cryptocurrencies that have clear structure. Don't just buy something. Okay, you still have to focus on the price. Okay, so on Ethereum, if I take a look on this, that one is not really that clear. It has some kind of a 3 waves to the upside. Okay, I hope that, okay. We have charts, but I can see some black here around. I don't know what is this. Here, from the lows, you can actually see that recovery was not that strong, and maybe even in 3 waves. So if you ask me, when pullback will occur on Bitcoin, should I buy Ethereum? No, I don't think so, because it don't have a very good looking structure. Okay, in fact, it can be a corrective bounce, and maybe market will retest the lows. Sorry. And so definitely when you're looking for setups, watch for markets that will have 5 waves to the upside. Okay, so I think there are some of those patterns. Bitcoin is one of them, what we said. I know why I close this. I'll just open all of that. Dash. Bitcoin Cash. I think that we have very good structure on Ethereum Classic. Here we have, okay, now again, here it is. I don't know what is this. I will really ask admins from the FX Street to check this till next time, why trading view charts are not supported like they should be on this version of webinar software, because it appears that I will have to close again everything. This is Bitcoin Cash. Also, here was a very nice ABC pullback, ending diagonal and a bounce. But this recovery is not that very clear. I'm tracking actually two wave counts. First is that this was an ABC move up, and I'm really wondering if we'll get an impulsive decline from the high, then we know that we are back in bearish track. But if this pullback would be only in three waves, then bullish uptrend should resume, and that's why I'm more focused on this wave count. Wave 1, 2, 5 waves up for wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. And now this could be an ABC movement. However, I would love to see deeper pullback back to this area. Okay, we have this wave 4, another swing low test, another swing low. So ideally, we will see again something similar here. Okay, so I would love to see a bounce here. So when it comes to trading, this can still be wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me just this. Okay. Let's assume that we are wrong and this goes to the downside like this. Okay. That's why I don't want to just buy in here when market will retest. Just because you have marked support on the chart, it doesn't mean it actually will react as a support. You have to see a reaction from the support. Okay. So if you assume this will be only an ABC bounce, like this. Okay, then what I want to see is a bounce. Okay, if we see an ABC pullback, I want to see a bounce. And if we see a recovery back into this wave A area, then this would be a first indication that pullback was indeed only corrective. And then you can start scaling or maybe looking for opportunities on the long side. Okay, and then actually you will have enough of price data to either say that this was a 5-wave rise, or if you get more downside, that this was only a 3-wave rise. Okay, so it's not about where market will go from here. I want to see how structure will unfold, and if it will follow my plan, what I planned into the future for potential trading setup, then I will act to it. Okay, so I want to see a reversal or a bounce from here in impulsive fashion. Then maybe buy at market once we get into this wave B area, and then maybe put some more orders in based on your risk reward setup, based on your method of trading. So then you can also put some new orders at lower levels if this pullback gets even more complex. Okay, so this is a very simple concept after all. Okay, so you just want to see how market will react at this potential wave for support. So Bitcoin is very interesting. Bitcoin Cash based on this second wave count, alternate count, is also very interesting. Ripple, it's much weaker, did not see such gains like Bitcoin because you can actually see that it's now sideways for the last 2 weeks, not 10 days. So maybe this is a pullback, it's a corrective price action, maybe even wave 2, wave B. So here, watch out for this retest of the support at 0.883. And if we get a bounce back above $1, then I think that we could be in the card for more upside. On a bigger picture, clearly this was, which one should I pick? This was clearly a corrective pullback. This is not that clear. Here's better. Okay, I label this as a corrective pullback because we had first leg down here in 3 waves, then we had wave X, and then another 3-wave move. So whole decline was actually in 7 legs, and this is a corrective structure. Also, it was an overlapping price action. If you check this, actually, you can see here overlap. Then you can see here overlap. Okay, so and then actually we have seen another bounce. So actually overlapping price action and and decline in 7 legs, and also decline back to this support and then a bounce suggests that we could see more upside. Okay, but as I said, it's not that clear because it's not that strong compared to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin itself could be much better on a pullback. Now let's take a look on Dash. Okay, very nice. try to reopen. Oh my God, I had this. Come on. Okay, here we have Dash. Dash is moving to the upside. It appears that recent price development since February of 17, it was corrected. Okay, so we are staying in a bullish mode. Either this is an ABC rise again or a new impulse. I compared the first leg from the bottom of the second leg, and still there is room for upside towards 840. Okay, so watch out for more upside here on Dash. I really want to look at Litcoin because I know that it has a very good looking structure. Yes, finally. Okay, so here logarithmic scale again uptrend in progress. So next leg we want to focus to the upside. Here we can see that market found the support and this previous swing high. So whole mania cycle was recovered, was erased, not recovered. But then we have seen a bounce. A bounce actually occurred with this morning star formation. You can see very strong decline. Then you have this doji and then very strong rise that closed above the previous, this red candle. So this is a bullish signal, not to mention that we also passed this swing high of this previous candle recently. And also if we consider that decline wasn't clearly in three waves and that bounce from the recent low is in 5 waves, then we know that this market is probably back in a bullish track. So this one is also very interesting, okay? Because it's at 3-wave decline back into the support, morning star on a weekly, 5 waves up on an intraday, okay? But you would expect a pullback. So here, this one. So here we go for up for wave B. Something like that, okay? So after an ABC pullback, I would expect a bounce. So this one is very, very similar to Bitcoin actually, okay? And Bitcoin Cash, that alternate count. So this one is very interesting as well. Support, I would keep an eye now. If we consider that if first leg, I think I said this already, Bitcoin. If first leg is very strong, okay, back to the area of a former wave 4, then this is still only one part of a deeper correction. So in such case, you would not focus on these supports for potential bounce, but probably you would focus on the next supports, which are at the area of this wave 1, wave 2 swing high. Okay, and this was also this this wave 4 old swing high that can again turn into support. So actually, this was an important resistance. And important resistance was broken decisively. So expect a retest of this old resistance that will become new support, and then watch out for more upside. Ideally, we will see a retracement somewhere between 50 or 61.8. So let's see where this stands. So here it is, 50, 61. Okay, so this is the region. So here I would expect definitely a very nice bounce. But again, it depends what kind of a decline will be seen from the high. If we'll see a decline in 3 waves, then of course I would anticipate more upside. If we get a bounce, it may start to look for longs. Okay, if there will be only one leg sharp fall from here down to these levels, then of course I would not even look at this market. Okay, because it would be an impulsive fall. Do you have any questions, guys? Everything is so clear? I don't know. I said that I will also take a look at Ethereum Classic. Did I say that? Okay, one question is, where is the webcam? No, this is Ethereum Classic against the Bitcoin. Okay, perfect. So this one is also very nice. 60-minute chart, pullback from the high, clearly in 3 waves. Sharp fall for wave 8. I talked about this on Bitcoin. Normally this is where people will get scared, okay? And that's why it moves very strongly because they will try to sell everything. Probably normally that happens at the lows, and when this happens, market bounces. And when market bounce, you get a wave B, and if bounce is 50% or more, they say, if you're not familiar with the Elliott Wave structure, they will say, okay, market has bottomed, we are going back to the bullish track. What will happen? They will put stops below 21. Market will again make a third leg of decline. They will be stopped out, and then market will turn in this first direction that they anticipated. But because they were already lost too much, they will not make a new attempt of a trade. And that's when normally market starts to move following the Elliott Wave pattern in impulsive fashion to the upside. Okay, so actually I'm not really surprised that this market has turned, especially if we also consider that there was a potential ending diagonal here for wave C. It's a reversal pattern. When it's finished, the whole pattern will be recovered, and you can see that price definitely moved above 36. And this is very important because it's the bullish confirmation. It's confirmation that this was a corrective pullback and that uptrend should resume. And we also have a 5 waves to the upside. So it's a probably textbook example. But again, you should wait on a pullback. Now here's a little bit different. I said that if the first leg will be very strong back to the wave 4, okay, then you can expect deeper pullback. But so far, we are not there yet. Okay, so if we get a little bit slower price action now, let's say for the next 2-3 trading days for wave B, then watch out for potential wave C that could probably spike below these wave 4 levels and then move to the upside. I also will grab this level. Here's 38.2%. Normally, when I'm expecting an ABC pullback, 38.2% is the minimum what I want to see to even consider that correction is finished. Okay, but ideally, I will focus on 50 and 61.8%, and this is much better, especially from a risk-reward perspective. So watch out for this region here. Definitely room for more downside, but again, 3 wave retracement should be seen, and then watch out for more gains. So this one is very interesting. I think that we found now some 4 of them that have very interesting setups. Ripple could be interesting, as I said, but it's not that strong. Always when you're trading, make an overlay charts with Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever. Put a lot of them and compare them, and you will see which is the strongest and which one is the weakest. In uptrend, you want to trade with the strongest opportunities in the strongest market. In a deep pullback, in a downtrend, you want to short the weakest. Okay, it's a very simple logical perspective, actually. Do we have any questions? Do you want me any market to look at it? We have 5-7 minutes left. Also, if you're not on our list, I have an email list where you can sign up with your email, and you will receive our reports actually directly into your email box. Okay, I'm sharing a report, so actually It was sent out yesterday. I can show it here. So it actually has some major cryptocurrencies where you will see all of these charts that we just went through. So you can see here, yesterday I said that pullback is probably coming, and we have seen a reversal to the downside. Now here's also this positive correlation between Nasdaq and Bitcoin that I talked about. So Ethereum, as I said, 3 ways to the upside, not really clear. Litecoin definitely much better because it made 5 ways to the upside. Now pullback. Dash also not that clear yet, but I think that we thought that there was only an ABC pullback, okay, on this intraday basis, intraday chart. So next leg could be to the upside. Okay, but if this trend line, which is connected from this end of wave, this recent ABC decline and wave 2, if this one is broken, then things would not be that pretty, okay? In such case, either this market will just go sideways or even down, okay? So watch out for this trend line for sure. But as this looks right now, it looks like a potential flat correction. Okay, flat is a 335 pattern. So this was an ABC for wave A. Then we got an ABC for wave B. And this looks like a 5-wave fall for wave C. Okay, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This trend line should actually be here. Okay, so if we break this upper trend line, then I think that we could go much higher. Okay, our website, just a second. Here on our website, we also do cryptocurrency analysis, so watch out this. Okay, we post a lot of free cryptocurrencies analysis here, and also we share this on FX Street as well. So some of them can be found as well on that website under our blog as a contribution to FX Street. Okay. So if you're interested, check our services there. We also, of course, are not in crypto. We are in cryptos a lot recently, but doing everything free. But as you know, we also cover FX a lot. So this is still our primary paid service that we offer to clients. So now that we have 3 minutes left, just let me review some of them, which I think can be interesting. So as I said here, the S&P 500, watch out for more weakness. So if stocks are going to drop, then definitely you want to look for opportunities in risk off mode, which means that traders will look for safety in some other currencies than majors. Normally this will be either in dollar, but most likely in Japanese yen. So I'm looking here at this pound yen, which is looking very interesting. Notice that the recent bounce here was only in 3 waves, A, B, C. If I label this real quickly, this was wave A, this was wave B, and this was wave C. And since market already dropped quite nicely here towards this trendline support, and very deeply into wave A, then we can say that this was a corrective bounce and that we are looking to the downside. So I would be expecting more weakness here on pound yen, and this can be even starting to accelerate into the downside if stocks will continue lower from current resistance. Okay. Also another one that is interesting is Aussie dollar. Notice that here decline from end of January was in impulsive fashion. Bounce was clearly corrective. I said previously, that if you see some interesting, important previous swings to be broken, then this swing can turn into a resistance or support in uptrend. And here was this support, actually previous support that was broken here and become resistance, and you can see that market actually tests this level. I also said that normally wave B or free wave rally against the previous 5-wave fall will retrace for 50 or 61.8%, and this is exactly what happened, 61.8% on tick actually. And we can see a very nice move to the downside, reversal for now. Also, what it matters is that this recovery was overlapping and, to me, corrective. Okay, so I posted this chart as well on Twitter, even made some articles on it, that we are probably going to see lower levels, especially if we also consider intraday head and shoulders pattern. Also, we are short with members on this one since Monday or since yesterday, I don't know. We are short and just will remain on the short side with trading stop, no targets, because if we consider that maybe even this can be wave C or maybe even an extended wave 3, then you know that there are much lower levels. But for a minimum perspective, I'm looking for a drop towards this 0.7780 level. Why? Because this is the head and shoulders target from this hat. So I took distance from hat to a neckline, projected from a breakout point. So this is the region where I'm looking at, and I think it can be reached within 24 hours. But if we go towards these levels, then of course I would be even more confident that this was a corrective rise, so targets would be much lower. Okay, traders, thank you very much for your attention, and I hope that you liked our analysis. If you like it, please visit our website, check what we have to offer, check the FX Street website, our articles there. Find me on Twitter. I can give you this. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter. Here is my Twitter feed. Also, we have a Twitter feed from Elliott Wave podcast directly. So check out this, and I hope to see you next, not next week, but next month. Thank you very much for your attention. Bye.